We are live at the Indianapolis Raceway Park for the running of the Kroger 200 for race 2 of our Wednesday night doubleheader of NASCAR Busch Series action on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. With this being race 2 of the doubleheader, probably the shorter of the two, definitely on the shortest of tracks, a 6/10 of a mile just over that short track at Indianapolis. Of course, IRP, a track that is no longer on the Busch Series schedule, but it is being brought back for the Truck Series later on this season. It'll be interesting to see how they do then, but it'll also be interesting to see how these drivers will handle these tough conditions on this flat, short track tonight. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we get into another full race live commentary live stream on this Wednesday night. This one under the lights, of course, as well. Pole sitter for today's race is Bobby Hamilton Jr. He led some laps early in the Michigan race after qualifying well. We'll see what kind of a car he has. Our driver, Greg Biffle, qualified third, so he'll start inside of row number 2. He is coming in off a win at Michigan in race 1 of the doubleheader, and correction on my stat as well. He has won 2 races in a row after that win at Michigan today, not 3. Bobby Hamilton Jr. actually won 3 races ago, a couple weeks ago, last time. We ran a Busch race before Old Spice Speedway last week, so just wanted to clear the air with that. I might state that again throughout the course of the race as we get more viewers, or maybe get towards the end of the race. Bobby Hamilton Jr. won 3 races ago, so Biffle's only won 2 races in a row back-to-back. He'll try to make it 3 in a row, though, in this race tonight. Let's get into this one. Billy Kramer, welcome back. He's back for some more racing. Hopefully many of you will do the same. Green flag is in the air. Bobby Hamilton Jr. will kick-start the Kroger 200. Biffle kind of overran turn 1. Had to drop in line behind Manny Brown in the 83. We went caution-free at Michigan earlier today for our 4th caution-free race of the year. With this being a short track, I doubt that this one's going to go caution-free, but I guess you never know. Should be a one-stopper as well. Biffle really tight right now. Having a hard time trying to turn the race car. Contact. Barely kept it off the wall off the exit of turn 2, and he is stuck on the outside. So despite qualifying 3rd, Biffle's already back to 8th. He's the only Cup regular in this race today. 3 wide, Donnie Hart, the 128's there. Oh my goodness, big stack up off of turn 2. Biffle just got squeezed into the wall. Donnie Hart, and then the car right behind him, I believe, was Blue Castleberry, also squeezed him. He was minding his own business on the outside, and Biffle cannot get the car to turn on the bottom of the racetrack. See that puff of smoke from the lap before. More contact into turn 3 with Craig Miller in the 168 now. And then Miller washes up into Kyle Busch in the middle of the corner as well. Biffle's already back to 13th, and he's 4 seconds off the lead, and he's trying to get the car to the bottom, and the minute he does get to the bottom, he pushes up in the middle of the corner. More contact as he gets ran into the wall. This is a train wreck of a start for Greg Biffle. I don't think it could have been any worse. He's going to have to fight for it. He's going to have to loosen this car up quite a bit. Obviously, in qualifying, he didn't have any dirty air. The race, that is the case, and he is not able to keep the car on the bottom. Runs into Craig Miller. Got to his outside. Biffle back down to the bottom. Contact in front of him between the 123 and the Nash and Lewis and the 46. Lance Brantley in the 109 car gets down to the inside. This is insane. And Biffle's out of the gas. And just has to stay out of it as the car keeps pushing. A lot of contact going on in front of him again. Kenny Wallace nearly sideswipes the 60 off the exit of turn 2. They make contact into turn 3, though. J.J. Yaley, 3 wide. Patrick Shadley's back for race 2 as well. Just got pinched into the wall again. Finally gets back down to the bottom. See if he can actually hold it this time, though. We are 10 laps in, and Biffle's fallen from 30th, or from 3rd all the way back to 30th. Bobby Hamilton Jr., though, at the front of the field has still led every lap. And Biffle's in desperate need of a caution right now because they need to loosen this race car up. It was not bad and thought he had the setup in qualifying, but it is a whole different ball game in the race. He's definitely holding up the cars behind him. Push right into Mike Bliss. Open up the door for Hermie Sadler down low. 107 will get by. Rick Ware, give us the chassis. As far as I know, it's still Roush Fenway. And this is prime Roush Fenway. This isn't like now Roush Fenway. Oh, big bobble out of the rear view. I think that was Craig Miller. Got a little tight into turn 3. Oh, Biffle got tight into 3 that time. David Stremme looking to make a pass on him. Biffle gonna try to hold and protect the bottom. Oh, and Stremme gets into the back of him. It's Cody Holt, by the way, on the outside. Just got knocked into the wall by Biffle underneath him. Biffle probably could have given him a little bit more room. Kind of has to run the middle just to get the car to turn a little bit better. The problem is he gives up the bottom with doing that. I think we'll get some cautions tonight. We've obviously seen a lot of contact through the field in the early going of this race. Hopefully Biffle's not involved in it, though, so that way he can pit for fuel and tires. Oh, whoa, we almost got a caution there. Cody Holt gets into the side of David Stremme. Biffle's going to have a hard time just trying to stay on the lead lap at this pace. Oh, and Holt just runs a 60 up the track into the wall. I guess Biffle did make contact with him earlier. Biffle back down to the bottom. And he gets hooked in. There's a caution. Ray Westbury just got T-boned into the wall. Biffle can't pit, though, because he brought out the yellow. He moved up the track right in front of Westbury, and we have our first caution of the night between both races combined. Looks like Sean Batson was an innocent bystander and all that. He was a car that had T-boned Westbury after Westbury had hit head-on into the outside wall into turn 3. Biffle's back to 37th. He will pit to repair damage. He's already at the back of the pack anyway. But a frustrating start for Greg Biffle. He's already got 3.9 seconds of damage in the early going of this race. After having a super clean race at Michigan, complete role reversal to start things off at the Indianapolis Raceway Park tonight. Less than 20 laps in, we already have our first caution. Biffle's got some damage. Mr. Klinkour gonna try to repair that car as much as they possibly can. Bobby Hamilton Jr. will lead to the restart. Single file all the way through the field as they didn't get the lap traffic yet. Biffle at the back. And hopefully we can get a natural yellow this time. I imagine he's probably going to have just a hard time trying to stay with these guys. I'm trying to figure out how he qualified third. Now, again, he's able to grip that middle to upper lane pretty well, which is about where he ran in qualifying. But even in the race right now, he's having a hard time trying to stay there. He saw him go a little bit more to the outside in turns 1 and 2. Seems like he's got a bit more grip in 3 and 4, at least both laps after the restart. Problem is, if a wreck happens in front of him, will he miss it? At the back of the pack, he's giving himself a little bit of breathing room right now. He's just going to have to learn how to drive this car one way or another with how tight it is. Definitely going to have to make some major adjustments. Dark Crypto, welcome to the stream. It's a good thing Biffle's got a pretty big points lead. He's just over one race worth of points ahead of Kyle Busch coming into this race today. Got a 208 point lead into the second race of our doubleheader today. That was after Biffle had one at Michigan. Kyle Busch didn't lose too many points, so he didn't lead any laps, but he did finish in third. Busch was mid-pack off the start of this race. Biffle qualified third. It's been all Bobby Hamilton early on. It's Hamilton trying to go for his second win of the season. Biffle is just slowly losing the back of the field lap after lap. For whatever reason, he's got a slow car even before the damage. I'm sure the damage on the right side of the race car, though, is only making the car even harder to drive than what it already is, you would think. Alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in our second race of the doubleheader. Trying to watch the interval to see exactly how slow Biffle is compared to the race leader, considering that neither one of them are really battling with traffic. It looks like Biffle's about 0.3 of a second slower than Bobby Hamilton Jr. Hamilton in the top 5 in the point standings. Also had a good points day, led some laps at Michigan, 6th place finish. The worst part for Biffle is the fact, with this being a short race, depending on how many cautions we get, we're only going to have one stop in this race. Obviously, if we get another yellow, he's going to be pitting for not only fuel and tires, but to make an adjustment change to this race car. It's only going to get worse as the run gets longer and the tires start to wear. Definitely going to be taking multiple rounds of wedge out of the car. Try and help loosen it up. Just over 12 seconds off the lead. Bobby Hamilton's pulling away from everybody else behind him. Maybe Biff will get lucky and the car will loosen up on the longer run a little bit, rather than get tighter. It doesn't really feel like he's gaining on the cars ahead of him, though. Definitely still slower than the leader. Bobby Hamilton's got to be only 5 or 6 seconds behind Biffle. Considering Biffle can't hold the bottom real well. I would assume that when Hamilton catches Biffle that he's probably going to be able to drive right on by him. Contact at the back of the pack. Turns 1 and 2. Biffle's actually 7th on lap 1 in qualifying. Then lap 2, he picked up his time to 3rd. It was an 18.7. He's 0.2 of a second off of that in the race. But it's insane even at the back that he's still super tight. Now granted, this is 48 laps in. This is where no practice definitely hurts. He had 2 qualifying laps. That was the only practice he had to try and get a setup. And he ran the same setup in this race as what he did in qualifying. It was trimmed out, but that was about it. Definitely doesn't have the race pace. We're already a quarter of the way home. Michael Turner, welcome to the stream. Yep, short track racing. Or as Joey Logano would say, short track racing. Just short track racing. My best Joey Logano impersonation. He doesn't sound that nerdy in real life. I've heard him talk before. Well, obviously on TV too, but even in person. Because, you know, sometimes the microphone voice might sound a little bit different than the actual voice. Biffle trying to almost diamond the corner off. Starting wider, trying to get it to arc in the middle if he could back the corners up enough and get the run off the exit. Really trying to change his line to figure out how to run this race car. He's not going to be able to obviously do that in traffic, but for right now, at least until they get to that first stop, he's going to have to do this. A lot of catching up to do and not such a long race. Worst finish of the season was at the Levi Strauss Signature Speedway, which was the race Bobby Hamilton Jr. won. Biffle finished in 16th in that race. And that was his, again, worst finish of the year. It's the only finish he's had outside the top 10 so far in this Busch Series season, which is why he has over a 200-point lead coming into this race today. faintly see Bobby Hamilton Jr. out of the rearview mirror of the 60. Remember, if he goes a lap down and we get a caution, he's going to get trapped a lap down. Half a tank of fuel, and I almost wonder, though, if he loses a lap, if he should just pit anyway. Now, the problem is that if he does that, he's going to lose another lap. You go 2 down, that's nearly impossible to come back from. At least 1 lap down, he has somewhat of a shot. There's no free pass as well for being the first car 1 lap down. So no free pass. No wave around. He's going to have to race his way back onto the lead lap if he does lose it. He wouldn't want to take the wave around with this ill handling of a race car anyway. Those of you just tuning in, probably going to be hard for you to believe this when I say it, but Greg Biffle qualified 3rd tonight, and it was with the same setup he has in the race, but it is not good in the race. It's not getting any better either on this longer run. We had 1 caution early. Biffle desperately needs to make it onto pit road to this first stop at some point. Nobody pitted for fuel or tires during the caution flag that came out just prior to lap 20. And in turns 1 and 2, Bobby Hamilton Jr. off the exit of the corner has caught Greg Biffle. Biffle trying to back the corner up as much as he can so he can stay in front of Hamilton. Hamilton's got a gigantic lead right now, but Biffle's trying not to go a lap down. Hamilton to the inside anyway. And it looks like he's going to be able to get right around Greg Biffle in the 60. Biffle trying to get Hamilton loose off the exit of turn 4. Not going to happen. Drives it in deep into turns 1 and 2, but he's got nothing for him. So Greg Biffle will go a lap down. Problem is, though, if he short pits and we somehow stay green to the end of the race, which the way this has gone this season, I wouldn't doubt it, he would have to pit again. They're not within the fuel window yet. Got in the wall getting into turns 1 and 2. He's got a little bit of breathing room before another car catches him, at least. Biffle's in danger of losing a lot of that points lead today, and we still have 19 races to go following this one. 18 races to go, excuse me, when this race comes to an end tonight. Oh, I had it right, yeah, 19. And our next race is going to be at the High Banks at Daytona under the lights for our second and final race at Daytona this season. Biffle was able to win the first race at Daytona, but my luck on EA Sports video games at Daytona, not good. That's the only race I've won in an EA Sports video game at Daytona. Biffle had the fastest car that day. He led 42 of the 120 laps and road to a win, as well started and qualified on the pole. And he did have a second place finish at Talladega as well, so he has had good finishes, at least for this season, on the super speedways. Going to need to have a much better show. It's a little bit shorter of a race, too. 100 laps versus the season opener was 120. It'll be under the lights as well instead of in the daytime. Going to alternate through the different camera angles one final time in today's race. Somehow we have 4 skill points. I'm not sure exactly how. What we got those 4 skill points from. We haven't passed a single car all day, I don't think. Not cleanly if we did. Right front into the yellow. Biffle scrapes the wall up the exit of turn 2. It does seem like he's closing in on the 42nd place car. Whoever that is way up ahead of him. Biffle may not be the slowest car on the racetrack anymore. His speed's still got to be way off the top 30. Cerebral Assassin, welcome to the stream. Thank you for those of you tuning in. 8 likes. 5 current viewers watching this. You're just tuning in. Biffle is struggling as he has missed the setup for this race. Qualified 3rd, but does not have the setup for Racetrack. He used the same setup he had in qualifying, and it is really, really tight. Especially on the longer run. And he is just trying desperately to hang on and get to the first pit stop of the day. He needs this to stay green because he's already 1 lap down, but they're not within the window to be able to make it to the end of the race yet. Problem is, though, if a caution comes out, he's going to get stuck there likely the rest of this race, considering there's no free pass and no wave around in this game for the Busch series. No wave around in any of the series in this game, but at least the free pass is awarded in the Cup side and I think the Truck series, but not the Busch series. Lap 80. We have to be close, considering Biffle hit halfway on fuel at lap 58. It's only going to be a 1-stopper. Terry Cook in 2nd place. He also qualified 2nd. He's closed in on Greg Biffle. And this is all Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s race, and probably to lose at this point. Biffle holding Terry Cook in the 10 up. So who would have thought of all tracks for Biffle to struggle on, it would be a racetrack in which he is the only Cup Series regular in the field. And that is only because he is running full time for this Busch Series season. Tried to diamond the corner off a little bit. Terry Cook was there, but Biffle's going to hold on in front of him. He's really holding Cook up, and I wonder if Cook's just going to use the bumper here before long. He might get around him on the outside. Biffle slid in the middle of the corner, went down to the apron, and Cook will get around there instead. And here comes the 3rd place car, the 106. So one of the generated rookie drivers having a good run in this one as well. Biffle should be able to gain time if he short pits. Again, it is a gigantic gamble to stay green, though. Quarter of a tank of gas left. We get to 108 laps to go in this race, and then Greg Biffle is going to pit. 108 laps to go for him at least, just to make sure he should be within the pit window then. So he's going to take the gamble short pitting. He's already in last. Nothing left to lose. Try to gain as much time off the pit stop. Hopefully they have a quick one. Mr. Clean Crew had one mistake on a pit stop in the first race today at Michigan. Biffle's still able to win. Also had a little bit of problems with a lap car coming into the pit box in front of him, which was J.J. Yaley at the time. A lot of the lead lap cars getting around Biffle currently. Biffle almost crowds Casey Atwood in the 14. He's coming off a top 5 at Michigan earlier today. He's currently running 5th in this race as well, trying to look for back-to-back top 5s. It'll be a good run for the 14. I believe he's in the top 10 in points. Biffle is a little over a lap and a third off of race leader Bobby Hamilton Jr. Hamilton's lapped quite a few cars. Oh, contact into turns 1 and 2. The 106 of Richards got in the back of the lap car running in 42nd. Actually, I think it was Richards who got moved instead by whoever was in 4th. I don't think a lap car had anything to do with that. It's going to open the door for Casey Atwood to get to 4th place. Ashton Lewis in the 46 down to the inside of Greg Biffle. Biffle's just going to stay high and let the 46 car go. Down in the corner off back behind him. Oh, he just crossed Lewis back over. I don't think Biffle's going to have the speed on the bottom anyway. And we have a lot of cars who have come into the pits here. So that window is open to make it to the end of the race. Biffle is 1 lap down still. He might change the strategy all of a sudden. Do you stay out as long as you can and catch a caution? Or do you short pit? We've already had some drivers pit. Biffle extremely tight again. 119 car going to get underneath him. Those guys are 2 laps down that already pitted as well. Contact with Eddie Hamlock off of turn 4. Less time he's going to be able to gain, though, if it does stay green. Yeah, Biffle's going to pit this time. So Greg Biffle's coming in. He's making his bet right now, and he's going to hope that it stays green to the end. 70 miles an hour is the pit road speed limit. He'll coast his way in. It'll be 4 tires and fuel for the 60 team, and they're going to be taking 2.5 rounds of wedge out of the race car to try and help loosen it up as much as he possibly can. So major adjustments on the 60 of Biffle during our lone pit stop of the race. Derek Booth, welcome to the stream. So Biffle not short pitting on everybody, but he is short pitting on the leaders. Most of the top 10 still have to make their stop and just praying that it stays green at least to cycle all the way through. And he's hoping he's got enough speed to unlap himself in case we do get a late caution or a caution at some point in the second half of this race. Biffle going to be 3 laps down. So major adjustments on the 60. We'll see how much looser the car may be. It turns a lot easier on entrance. He's going to clear 1 car. We don't know who's pit and who has, though. That's the problem. He definitely is rolling the bottom a lot better off the exit of the corner, too. So after the 2.5 rounds of wedge coming out of the race car, I think Biffle might be liking the handling just a bit better. Really, it's a lot better than what it was. 113 car in the way of Biffle. Hold him up on a track that's hard to pass, but now he'll come into the pit, so maybe that's why he was holding the bottom. He didn't want to get stuck up on the outside. A lot of clean air in front of Biffle to take on with these fresh tires as well. Outside of that 1 lap, he was behind Donnie Hart. Jimmy Hill in front of him also coming in. Bobby Hamilton Jr. still on the racetrack. And that is the leader, though, so the longer he stays out and we stay green, it's more Biffle's going to close in. Interesting. He did have a big lead, so he's got a little bit of buffer room. And he definitely doesn't want to get trapped a lap down. He's going to wait till most of these lap cars pit, you would have to assume at this point. And Hamilton's coming in. Sorry, no, that is a lap car that was running right around Hamilton. It was a 12 of Fedewa. Finished first car 1 lap down in our first race tonight at Michigan. Hamilton still on the track. I don't think these guys can make it much longer than 110 laps, and considering Biffle is 3 laps down, that will leave Hamilton currently at lap 108. He'll stay out again this time by. Biffle's alright with that. He drives down underneath the 86 of Shane Kirkland. Contact between the two. Kirkland really squeezed Biffle. Biffle was all the way hooked on that yellow line. Hamilton again stays out of the pits. That pass was for position on Kirkland. So you can definitely tell the 60's faster than what he was. He's still tight in the middle off, but at least he can get the turn on corner entry. And here comes Hamilton into the pits. So Biffle's made up 1 lap. He'll make up another one on the way back through. It'll be curious to see if Hamilton will still be the race leader, considering how long he stayed out of the pits. 107 car going to put the bumper to the 157, or the 137, I guess. Sean Batson, he was involved in that first accident of the day. Biffle underneath him, and Biffle also drives under the 107. Oh, caution is out! And that is what Biffle did not want to see. Caution is out, and he was still 2 laps down. The 152 looks as if he blew a tire. Bobby Hamilton Jr. has lucked out, because I think he may have trapped most of the field a lap down still. He was on pit road and pitted the lap before, but Biffle only made up 1 of his 2 laps, so Biffle's going to pit again for fresh tires. Might as well at this point. So if he would have actually stayed out, he would have gotten back on the lead lap. And then he probably would have lapped about half the field as well. But instead, it was the fastest car in the field that gets the benefit of the doubt. And it looks like we still had a couple more cars that had to pit as well. Terry Cook is in the pit lane. Another round of wedge coming out of the race car for Greg Biffle. So they'll make another wedge adjustment because it is still tight on corner exit. What a tough break for Greg Biffle. That was the danger of short pitting, though, especially on a short track, and he got the caution he didn't want. And he was in 40th still, 2 laps down. Not like he had a great car, but this is not what the doctor ordered. Struggles for the points leader tonight. It looks like there are only 4 cars on the lead lap. And Terry Cook is going to restart as the leader. Green flag back in the air after Terry Cook wins the race off pit road. Looked like Kyle Busch is in second as well. Biffle didn't take off well in the restart. He's got one of the fresher tires in the field. So the idea here, try to get 1 of your laps back, maybe get another caution, get another lap back and another caution, especially not that many cars in the lead lap. That's asking for a lot, and that's hoping he's got a fast enough car to get there too. We'll see. We'll bump and run to the 86 of Kirkland. A lot of contact up ahead again. Big block by the 137 in front of Biffle. So, yeah, it was definitely bad enough Biffle was a lap down on speed, but now he's 2 down. Contact, big stack up. Sean Batson tried to go 3 wide up the middle. There was no room there. He crammed himself between Donnie Hart and Greg Biffle. Biffle drove right on by. Terry Cook lucks out and wins his first race of the season with that timing caution. I think Bobby Hamilton might even be one lap down. I don't know if he's on the lead lap or not, especially if Cook stayed out of the pits like he did. I didn't realize there were still cars on the track that hadn't pit. Considering Cook was ahead of Biffle, I guess Biffle wouldn't have been back on the lead lap. He would have been one lap down, but still one down is still better than two. He would still be in a better spot. And he'd still be on fresh tires because he would have pitted during the caution regardless. Left side's down on the apron. Wiggled quite a bit. That kept him from passing Cody Holt. Oh, we got a car blowing up on the inside of the racetrack. Biffle slides, trying to miss him. And he did miss. A lot of passes for position because of it. That was a major stack up. He was down on the bottom lane trying to get to the apron. And there was not a lot of room between the grass and then that lap car trying to get down to the apron when Biffle passed him. Lap car is going to make it all the way back around to pit road as we continue to stay green. Biffle's up to 25th because of that stack up. It's as far up in the running order as he's been since he started to go backwards at the beginning of the race. That already makes me feel a little bit better. Especially most of the field's 2 laps down. With the caution coming out in the middle of green flag pit stops. As of right now, though, this would still be Biffle's worst finish of the season. Short track's kind of the Achilles heel this year instead of the super speedways. On the Busch Series season, at least. Not sure why that's the case, but it seems to be the case so far. Again, he's got a bit fresher tires. He doesn't have fresher tires than the leaders, though, because they pitted during the caution also. He's got equal tires compared to them, so if he is going to make his way through the field and actually unlap himself, that goes to show he's made the right adjustments to the car and may be the fastest car on the track after the fact, despite not starting the race that way. But that's the problem with it being a Busch race, too, is that it's only 200 laps, and we knew that there was only going to be one pit stop, so missing the setup by not practicing was going to be maybe a bigger error in this series of the Truck Series than what it would have been in the Cup. J.J. Yaley putting the bumper to 10 feet in the 12. Moving him up out of the way. Greg Biffle underneath to try and make the pass. He's following Yaley for right now. He's going to get to the inside of Yaley off turn 4. 3 wide at IRP into turn 1. Nope, they're side by side now. Contact. Biffle got into Yaley, pushed a bit wide in that corner. Stremme trying to block the bottom. Biffle's there first. Biffle slides in the middle of the corner. Still beats Stremme back to the gas because Stremme was stuck behind Keller in the 22. And Biffle is up to 20th. 19th now. He clears Keller off turn 2. It's a good thing most of the field's 2 laps down, considering Biffle has maybe found the setup in the race car, and there is a lot of jammed 2x2 traffic still up ahead. Borland putting the bumper to David Green. Just less than 70 laps to go. We'll get tight. Barely kept it off the 119 car. He's still picking up positions. He's up to 17th. 3 wide off of turn 4. Oh, David Green, not quite. Gonna let Biffle take it 3 wide. That was a big block by Green. Biffle had to check up into turn 1 to keep from running in the back of him. When he did that, the 106 slotted his way down to the bottom. He was in 3rd at one point. I think he was in 5th when the caution, well, at least before green flag pit stops. Will slide off turn 4. Biffle hangs on to it. The left side tire's down on the apron again. And Biffle's inside the top 15. This is an incredible comeback. I wonder if the only 4 cars we saw in the lead lap are the only cars that are not 2 laps down. Actually, that might have been it. Yeah, Biffle's passed 2 cars now that were not for position, so it looks like everybody from 14th on up is at least 1 lap down, and then the top 4 would be on the lead lap, like we saw under the caution flag. Plus, there's some more lap cars that are still up here to be passed for position for Biffle before he can get to the leader. But I think Biffle has the fastest car on the track. Pulls up right on top of the 14 of Atwood. Contact between Ashton Lewis and Kenny Wallace into turn 3. And Lewis couldn't hold the bottom. Neither could Biffle, though. I think Biffle was going to get underneath of Castleberry in front of him, and Castleberry's going to be able to move down underneath of Kenny Wallace. Biffle is there underneath of Castleberry. 3 wide, almost 4 wide. Biffle's line got taken away from him. What a move by Castleberry. Now Wallace trying to hold the bottom. Biffle. Oh, Lewis cracks the wall off turn 2. Biffle got out of the gas just to keep it off of Lewis, and Lewis still got in the wall all by himself. Biffle needs to get this lap back in case we get our 3rd caution of the day. At least so he can challenge for the cars that are 1 lap down. Biffle just gets under the 139. I believe that's the old Spice car. Oh, contact. Steve Calloway. Biffle trying maybe too hard to pass him. Calloway might be on the lead lap trying to run down Terry Cook. If he is on the lead lap, he'd be in 3rd. Biffle just cannot get around Calloway, though. Big block that time. Biffle's going to have to try and set him up. And I think he did. Gets a bit loose, though, off turn 4. That might have been just enough for Calloway to hold on. Biffle going to drive it in deep into turn 1. He's going to put the bumper to Calloway. Runs him up the racetrack. Biffle getting desperate. Calloway is 3 wide on the outside. Now to side by side, and he lost the bottom, not giving up the position. He fought really hard with Greg Biffle, and Biffle wasn't taking it. He's getting pinched off enough. Biffle feels he's got the fastest car since pitting. Now he's got clean air again, so the car is definitely turning 100% the way he wants it to. It took 2 adjustments. That's the only bright side, is that it was still tight from middle off after taking the 2.5 rounds of wedge out of it initially, but then after taking that last round of wedge out of it, it's definitely turning even better. Just north of 50 laps still remaining. Still a little bit of a ways before the leaders get onto pit road. It looks like there's 2 cars under blanket behind Terry Cook as well. Might be a bit faster than the 10. Although Cook was in second place even before the pit stops. I wonder if one of them... Well, no, one of them is not Hamilton because he restarted at the very end of the field. Biffle now behind Mike Bliss in the 20. Trying to find a way underneath him. He's going to drive deep into turn 1. He beats Bliss down to the bottom. Try to get around him clean. Bliss is racing him clean. And Biffle's got it. Little slide job into turns 3 and 4, but he'll clear Bliss back into clean air again. 47 laps to go at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Biffle's in a rhythm right now. Kyle Busch is sitting P3. He lost 1 spot after the restart. Not sure who's in second. It's potentially like it's Ron Hornaday, who finished second at Michigan earlier tonight. He led 87 of the 125 laps in that race, but it was Biffle who led 27 of the 125 laps who went on to victory lane. It's closed on Kyle Busch. It is Hornaday in second. Kyle Busch losing touch of the top 2. Biffle looking low. Busch going to hang on in front of him. Biffle's the points leader. Busch is second in points, so he's going to make it tough on Biffle. Biffle's going to drive right underneath him, though, off turn 4. Oh, Busch crowds Biffle, though, in turns 1 and 2. A little bit of contact. That's going to hurt Busch more than Biffle, though. Leaders will catch lap traffic before the end if it did stay green. Hornaday trying a little bit wider of an arc into turns 1 and 2. Just trying something a little bit different to get around Cook. I think if he lets the 60 go and the 60 can get underneath of Cook, especially if Cook doesn't just let Biffle go, and he gets stuck on the outside, maybe that will be an opportunity for Hornaday to make a pass for the lead. Less than 35 laps to go. Hornaday a bit tight. He goes up the track wider and lost about a half a car length through 3 and 4. Biffle backs up turns 1 and 2 a little bit better, able to roll the bottom in the traffic. Heavier lap traffic coming up still, though, too. Biffle is closed on Hornaday. Trying to get around him. Through turns 1 and 2. Biffle races hard into turn 3. Down on the bottom. Hornaday up high. Biffle underneath the 2. Biffle drives it in deep, trying to get around Cook as well, but Cook slides down in front. Biffle checked up, and Hornaday had to check up behind Biffle. Biffle slides off the exit of turn 4. That might have kept him from getting underneath Cook off the exit of turn 4. Caution could strike at any moment. Right front wearing out a little bit more on Biffle. And Biffle will get one of his 2 laps back. Barely clearing Terry Cook off of turn 2. Hornaday to the inside of Cook. That opened the room, and that's what I had mentioned before. If Cook was going to battle long enough, would Hornaday have a shot to get underneath and follow Biffle? He did, and now Ron Hornaday leads for the first time tonight with 30 laps to go. Again, only 4 cars are on the lead lap. Oh, contact with Sean Batson. Hornaday's pulling away from Cook. Biffle needs to continue to get through this lap traffic, though, as well as he can, considering that Hornaday is right behind him. Furfer Express, welcome to the stream. Ooh, contact between Biffle and Kirkland. Hornaday closes back in on the 60. Hornaday gets a little tight and overdrives turns 3 and 4. Biffle gaps him right back again. Slides off of turn 4. Still just over 20 laps to go for Hornaday. But he's still pulling away from Terry Cook. As long as this stays green to the end. Hornaday actually just bounced off the wall off turn 2, it looked like. Got to be careful. He's pulling away from Cook. I know he wants to get to the end as soon as possible. By the way, spot gain for position around one of those cars for Greg Biffle. He's up to 14th. Biffle was 2 laps down. He is now 1 down. Then lapped himself during this current green flag run. He's got equal tires as the leaders. We got another car blowing up on the inside of the track, but he will get to pit road with a blown engine. I wonder if that might be another spot for Biffle. I don't believe it was. Still in 14th for right now. We'll see this time by if that was one of the lead lap cars, but I don't believe it was. That could have been a caution, but it wasn't. Second driver we've seen blow an engine during this current green flag run as well. Yeah, that wasn't a pass for position at all for Biffle. 19 laps left, though, for Ron Hornaday. Gets around Lance Brantley. Full under the 113. And now the 117. Hermie Sadler chopping off Greg Biffle in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Both the right side tires in the worn out portion of the tire stint. Hermie Sadler is not for position, for Biffle at least. It's as if he's about to lose another lap as well to Ron Hornaday. I think Jason Keller's for position up ahead. Because he wasn't for position when Biffle passed him the first time, working his way up through the field. Oh, that was a great corner through turns 3 and 4. He's really gapped Hornaday over the last few laps as well. Almost got in the back of Drew Campbell. Gets around him quickly. JJ Yaley may be for position as well as Jason Keller. Really, any car in front of Keller could be for position. Keller in the wall off of turn 2. And Keller actually wasn't for position, neither was Tiny Buchanan, so never mind. Maybe Keller was an extra lap down then. Or he's on the lead lap. I guess there were 4 cars on the... Oh, we got trouble! One car smoking off the exit of turn 4. Another one at least. It's Billy Parker. And that was for a spot for Greg Biffle as he squeezed between Parker and Callaway, who was trying to pinch him down. Parker was able to get onto pit road. So again, we stay green. At least Parker blowing an engine for Biffle's sake is another spot. Quarter tank of gas left, but again, he's plenty good to the finish. David Green is holding up Greg Biffle next. Green overdrives the entrance to turn 3, trying to get underneath Luke Nixon. Biffle slides underneath the 63 of Nixon. Oh, and he gets into him now. Little contact. Green got into the back of Grimsley off the exit of turn 2 as well. Great corner by Biffle that time. Hooking the yellow line on the inside. Sends it. Oh, he got a little loose. He's going to get into Grimsley. Not for a spot. Grimsley's just getting pushed around all over the place late. Considering Biffle's lap down, he's got 5 more laps to get around David Green. Whether he is for position or not. And I think he may catch the next car ahead. Again, whether for position or not. Green overdrives turn 3. Biffle just barely gets underneath him. And that's not for a spot either. Biffle passes him cleanly, clear off of turn 4. David Stremme in the 32 would be the next car. Green almost got back around Biffle, or at least back to the inside through 1 and 2. He could not hold it, though. White flag this time by for race leader Ron Hornaday Jr. He has not won a race yet this season. He finished second at Michigan earlier tonight, and it looks like he is going to win race 2 of the doubleheader. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Biffle will have another lap and a half to try and get around Stremme, and what he hopes is for 12th. He's not going to catch another car, so we have another one blow up late in the race. Had 3 of them since the second and last restart, or second caution. Checkered flag in the air. Ron Hornaday is your winner at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Biffle slides. He's underneath of Stremme. I don't believe Stremme's for position, and he really hopes not, because it looks like Stremme's going to hold on. Biffle would have gotten around him if he didn't get loose. But 13th, after being 2 laps down in this race, Greg Biffle will take it the way this one started. Oh my goodness. That was, I don't even know what, that's a sigh of relief. 13th is a sigh of relief the way this one went. And it's somehow not the worst finish of the year, despite it looked like we were going to have our worst finish of the season for the longest time. Ron Hornaday only led the final 30 laps of the race, but it was the most important 30 laps and road to a win after qualifying 23rd. He fought through the field. He had a obviously timely caution. He stayed out. He was one of the 4 cars on the lead lap when the caution flag had waved. Terry Cook would end up finishing second, Mike Bliss third. Bobby Hamilton Jr. would round out the top 5. Hamilton Jr. ended up finishing in 4th place. He led 109 laps today. He led every lap until that pit stop, and he was on pit road when the caution waved, so he was still in the lead lap, but he was back in 4th of the 4 in the lead lap, and unfortunately for him, he was going to finish right there. He couldn't get around anybody else off the restart. So he was the last car in the lead lap. Sean Calloway finishes in 5th. Kyle Busch 6th. Ashton Lewis 7th. Blue Castleberry 8th. Casey Atwood 9th. Kenny Walsh rounds out the top 10. David Stremme was not for position at the end of the race. So Greg Biffle qualified 3rd, finished 13th, but he was 2 laps down in last. Well, technically he was 3 down because he pitted early, but he got the 2 down. And then the caution unfortunately came out instead of cycling all the way through first. Otherwise, he would have been 1 down and back on the lead lap at least at the end of the race. And knowing how few cars were on the lead lap, that could have played out really well for him. And we only had 3 drivers at DNF today. We saw Billy Parker DNF late, Nick Richardson, and then Jay Mathers also ended up blowing an engine. So those are the 3 guys who failed to finish tonight's race. Well, that is going to wrap things up for our double header of action on a Wednesday night. Top 20, top 15. We finished 13th today. I will take that. We lost points to Kyle Busch this race. I will take it. And if you thought that was sketchy, just wait till the next race. It won't be till next week, but the Winn-Dixie 250 at Daytona, under the lights, 100 laps, 250 miles. That will be the next race of the Busch Series schedule. As far as tomorrow night goes, we'll be right back on this game, NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. Starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be Cup Series racing. On the Cup Series custom schedule season for race number 11, it will be taking place in the Food City 500 at Bristol. So 500 laps at Bristol in the daylight, starting tomorrow evening. I can't wait. Bristol's my favorite track. I think we'll put on a show. I've had bad luck on the short tracks in the Busch Series season. We'll see how the Cup Series side goes tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'll see you guys. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Have a good rest of your Wednesday night.